welcome to This is Nigeria, Unlocking Her Potential, the program that focuses on investment and development opportunities in Nigeria, especially in the non-oil sectors of the economy. And today we're looking at the initiative of the International Trade Center. She Trades Initiative is an initiative that is meant to build the capacity of women, especially women doing small businesses, for the global market. And it's a collaboration with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council. We bring you the launching of that program, and also subsequently we bring you an update of what has transpired in Nigeria since the launching of the program. My name is Mayowa Oluwabi. Don't go away, stay with us.
If you educate a woman, you educate a nation. The United Nations General Assembly has brought this very apt adage to the front burner in its program of gender equality and the empowerment of women as a prerequisite of achieving global development goals. To integrate the Nigerian women in this worldwide development program, the federal government, through the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, in collaboration with the International Trade Center and with the attendance of the Executive Director, Arantxa Gonzalez, successfully held a meeting and exhibition by Women in Export Stakeholders Forum in Abuja recently. The theme was Achieving Growth Through Women Inclusiveness in Global Export Trade. The event was graced by Mrs. Aisha Buhari, wife of the Nigerian president, and also Mrs. Dolapo Shimbajo, wife of the vice president. Other dignitaries were Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Aisha Abubakar, Tony Elumelu of the Elumelu Foundation, Mrs. Shola David Boha, former Chief Executive of Stanbic IBTC, the wife of the Speaker, Mrs. Dogara, Mrs. Stella Okoli, Group Managing Director, Emzo Pharmaceuticals. In his opening address, Olusegun Awolowo, Executive Director of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, described Nigerian women as the most underutilized assets in the economy, which he emphasized that his council was out to address by creating the enabling environment for women in the country. This, he said, will be achieved by effectively placing special emphasis on empowering women-led businesses already identified and working assiduously with the World Trade Organization and United Nations through the International Trade Center in the program She Trade. He said the program of women inclusiveness in global trade was long overdue, adding that his council, having known what women are looking for, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council will raise the hope of Nigerian women in the diversification of export, as he quoted President Buhari, and I quote, "Let us behave as if we have no oil at all."
I'm an only son, but I grew up with so many sisters. So I'm not intimidated by you at all you women. This journey started in September 2015 at the Trailblazers Summit in Sao Paulo, Brazil, when the Nigerian Export Promotion Council joined other thought leaders in Africa, in government and businesses from around the world to sign up to the International Trade Center call to action, aimed at connecting 1 million women to market by 2020. Today we have brought together leaders in government, business and industry, and civil society to concretize and announce to the world Nigeria's commitment to this call. Research shows that women are largely the driving force behind the global economy, controlling over 65% of global consumer spending. But there exists a paradox. Women businesses are outperformed in more productive sectors, as owners often lack adequate access to capital, in addition to the myriad of bottlenecks and complications plaguing their businesses, same as with all Nigerian entrepreneurs. The ITC She Trades initiative is our opportunity to accelerate our economic growth through the increased participation of Nigerian women in global trade. Such an opportunity is long overdue to unlock the potentials of captive ability of our women who dominate our non-oil sectors such as cocoa, cashew, hides, palm, and sugar. Today, Your Excellencies, you will meet widows, wives, mothers, and daughters who come together and produce despite the inherent challenges in our system. These women knew to look beyond oil long before we developed our zero oil plan, a coherent roadmap to diversify our economy. The time indeed has come for Nigeria to move away from dependence on one single commodity, oil. President Buhari articulated it very well when he said we need to behave as if we have no oil at all.
The Minister of State, Federal Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Aisha Abubakar, in her address, said the inclusiveness of women in economic development through export trade has come at a critical time when the nation needs to define its economy and accelerate diversification of its potentials. She lamented that women inclusiveness over the past years had suffered setbacks due to lack of continuity, inconsistency, and commitment. Advancing women empowerment, equality, and potentials would add $28 trillion to global GDP by 2025.
Achieving zero oil growth through women inclusiveness in Global Export Trade Forum is targeted at non-oil export for stakeholders which include micro, small, and medium enterprises, conglomerates, exporters, banks, shipping lines, insurance companies, chambers of commerce and industries, government agencies, research institutions, with a view to creating a platform for deeper engagement and advancing non-oil export activities. This forum would no doubt encourage business networking, create new export opportunities for women in international trade. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is poised to put in place policies and programs that will fast-track the dividends of the change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari. Consequently, one of the sectors identified as the main growth drivers during this change period is trade and investment. It is common knowledge that this change is challenged with issues of low productivity, weak infrastructure, low level of private sector investment, inadequate funding, all leading to lack of competitiveness and high cost of doing business. Nigeria's overall and competitiveness and sustainable development requires diversification away from gender disparities. Therefore, Nigeria will maintain its commitment and continue trade, enhancing reforms to stimulate trade, not only in trade value added exports, but also on women inclusiveness. In order to actualize the vision of this stakeholders forum, the private sector has a critical role to play, particularly in the place of corporate procurement. SheTrade seeks the allocation of a minimum of 10% corporate procurement to women-owned businesses.
Tony Elumelu, in his brief address, noted that women make up over 50% of the world population, adding that when we put women first, we put ourselves first, and when women succeed, the continent succeeds, as he pledged his foundation's support for SheTrade.
Two very important commitments. One is that currently, from statistics we've seen, first year of the launch of our entrepreneurship program, we got 20,000 applications, and out of these 20,000, only about 30% are females. The second year, we got 45,000 applicants from all across 54 African countries, and again, just barely 30% are women. So on behalf of the foundation and my colleagues, I want to commit that we shall promote and create sufficient awareness and make sure that we change the statistics from 30% women participation, which is 300 every year across Africa, to 50%. Because we believe that if women succeed, the entire continent succeeds. Our second commitment is to commission the production of in-depth research publications and case studies focused on solutions to unique challenges facing women entrepreneurs in Africa. Through these commitments, we hope to inspire and motivate more women to take the critical step to bring their ideas to fruition and to help connect them with markets for their goods and services, which is the very objective that NEPC and the International Trade Center are trying to achieve through these sheet trades.
Mrs. Shola David Boha, former Chief Executive of Stanbic IBTC, pledged the bank's support.
We at Stanbic IBTC were very excited to learn about this initiative because we strongly believe that SMEs, particularly women SMEs, are the drivers of growth for this economy. For too long, women have stayed at the lower end of the value chain. They've also received the short end of the stick in terms of the proportion of returns they get. So we are interested and committed to ensuring that we provide access to finance as well as financial advisory services to help build capacity for the women, for them to succeed. Nigerian women are very enterprising, very hardworking, very creative, and all they are looking for is support to leverage on the skills they have so that they can realize their potential. With women being roughly 50% of the Nigerian population, if we can increase the productivity of our women, that immediately translates to the economy and increasing our GDP growth. So certainly supporting our women in business, particularly trade, is a key focus for us.
Mrs. Arancha Gonzalez, Executive Director, International Trade Center, in her keynote address, noted that there was no better place to launch sheet trade than in Nigeria. When Nigeria speaks, the world listens, and urged Nigeria to speak and equally lead in putting more women first. She emphasized that sheet trade is very committed to tackling inhibitions against women, as she also demanded same opportunities with men, same laws with men, same credit with men, as well as equal job and equal pay with men. Sheet trade is out to tackle social norms and give women the much desired confidence which could be derived from experience.
We need to make sure that women have the same opportunities that men have to do business. That is what this is about. We want to have the same laws, which we don't. We want to have the same access to credit, which we don't. We want to have the same access to the resources, to capacities, to institutions, to networks that we don't have. We want to have equal pay for equal job, which we don't have. We want to make sure that women are not only at the low end of the value chain, often with the smaller companies with the shorter longevity. We want to make sure that when women, like in Nigeria, supply 70% of agricultural labor and 50% of animal husbandry-related services and 60% of food processing, we don't want them to only have 20% of access to available resources. We want to make sure that in occupations like mining, like construction, women are allowed to work in the same way as men do. In fact, very often we hear, well, the problem is the lower productivity of women. And we know that with equal access to resources, this lower productivity is just simply fiction. So, what is it that we need to tackle? First, we need to tackle social norms. If women bear a disproportionate share of house and care responsibilities and therefore are less flexible in terms of working hours, they will not be able to contribute in the same way as men to the economy. If women have less access to productive resources, to inputs, to land, to credit, and I'm very proud that we are tackling this issue of credit, which is a huge constraint, then we will make sure women exercise have the same productivity. Finally, we need to make sure that women have confidence. And confidence comes from experience. And experience comes from being in networks, from being exposed.
Dr. Stella Okoli's brief address drew applause from the audience.
It's the only thing that I will ask. When you're giving incentive, when you're giving loan, do not ask for their blood. Please. Because I can tell you that what is stopping us from growth is the devil called collateral. This, da. I was asking them yesterday at a seminar, I say, what happened to trust equity? What happened to trust equity? When I was, starting my business, there was high level of trust. When I graduated in the UK, I could be given a loan just because I have a certificate. It is important that we empower women in the right sense of the word. Empower them, please. Let them sign for the loan you're giving them. If they fail, go after them. Don't prejudge them before you give them the loan. Please.
No nation depends on one source of revenue if it wants to create a sustainable economic development and a future for its citizens. Countries have all grown and sustained their respective economies through non-oil exports, and Nigeria Export Promotion Council (NEPC) is strategically positioned to do more on 22 priority export products under the Zero Oil Plan, the One State, One Product initiative, and the Nigeria Diaspora Export Program, which are needed pillars of success in our economic recovery and growth plan. Invest in non-oil export business such as sorghum, cassava, yam, shea nut, ginger, and reap bountifully. Export business guarantees a prosperous future through inclusive wealth and job creation. Join hands to make Nigeria one of the top 20 largest economies in the world. Export business, tomorrow's business. For further inquiries, visit .nepc.gov.ng.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Nigeria Unlocking Her Potential, and today we're unlocking the potential of women. You'll see a lot of resource persons get to speak and energize Nigerian women to move fully into the global market, and we see some development banks also come to the rescue, although Stella Okoli had to tell them that they should please give women a soft landing. So if you're just joining us, don't go away, stay tuned, we'll be back.
In a brief speech by the wife of the Vice President, Dolapo Oshibajo, she said that she was encouraged and full of hope that women in communities will benefit from she trade.
Today, as I listen to all the speakers, I'm encouraged and full of hope on behalf of the women and their families and their communities that will benefit from she trades. I'm sure that the figures do not tell the whole story. The great ideas and the projections, as fascinating as they are, show us only a fraction of what is really being established by all the partners in this project. Today, I believe, because of she trades and because of the Nigerian partners, the light at the end of the tunnel just got brighter for these 4 ladies and many more like them. I have a request to make, if I may. Though this initiative brings great hope to those who will no doubt benefit from it, I respectfully ask for its speedy implementation. By the time some get to the end of the tunnel, a lot may have been lost. Is it possible for us to cut through the tunnel and bring them out today? It brings me great joy to imagine the joy on their faces as they are enabled and equipped to start and grow their businesses, the satisfaction of having the means to pay the bills, for the opportunity to employ labor, and share the hope and financial successes with much more. As I consider the statistics, the number of women She Trades proposes to help, I do my calculations too. I take a look at the women around me, the Nigerian women. My statistics also look good. I see smiley faces and joyful hearts in great numbers. As we view the items on display at the exhibition, remember behind each item stands a woman, and she deserves a chance. Each purchase represents a chance for a woman, a family, a community, and indeed the nation. Thank you very much.
Wife of the President, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, noted that women inclusiveness in export trade would breed more economic growth and diversification, which she said was a major cardinal point in the agenda of her husband's administration.
Nigerian women are extremely hardworking women. We are all aware, we all know that. And a lot of speakers admitted that we are enterprising and extremely hardworking. We only need a little push, and this is the time. So we will soon intimidate Olusegun. I am pleased to share this great moment with you all as we make a bold commitment to achieve zero oil growth for Nigeria through women inclusiveness in global trade. This closely links Goal 5 of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which aims at achieving gender equality and empower all women and girls. The 5th Development Goal, Gender Equality, which is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls, recognizes the need to integrate women in all aspects of a nation's economy. It is therefore not surprising that the organizers of this forum have chosen the theme, Achieving Zero Oil Growth Through Women Inclusiveness in Global Trade. Indeed, women inclusiveness in global trade will definitely lead to sustainable economic growth and enable a nation achieve the SDGs 8, decent work and economic growth. This is to promote sustained and inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. This is a thrust of this administration, which emphasizes on economic diversification and inclusive socio-economic growth. Therefore, recognizing interlinkages required for achieving sustainable national economy through a forum like this is a welcome development. May I at this point congratulate the International Trade Center on the She Trades initiative, which is a rallying point for stakeholders around the world to work together on areas set out in the call to action to address the trade barriers and create greater opportunities for women entrepreneurs. If Nigerian women are supported for their businesses to flourish, they will contribute to job creation and play a greater role in the economic development of the nation. Ladies and gentlemen, in that regards, I hereby announce my full support to the ITC call to action. She Trades and to join the NEPC's efforts and advocacy towards galvanizing stakeholders in the public and private sectors to harness the potential of 200,000 Nigerian women entrepreneurs to scale and access domestic, regional, and international markets.
At the end of the speeches, relevant papers of agreement were signed by financial stakeholders and handshakes to seal the agreement. The ITC She Trade plaque was unveiled and also the Nigerian version, She Trade, engraved in the map of Nigeria. Wife of the President and Vice President and all financial stakeholders stood in to take photographs exhibiting the ITC plaque and the Nigerian version. The vote of thanks was delivered by M.O. Ibrahim, Director of Project Development, after which Mrs. Aisha Buhari and Mrs. Dolapo Oshibaju led the audience to a tour of exhibition by women entrepreneurs.
Well, this is where we draw the curtains today. Every good road must have an end. Like I always say on this program, this is good for Nigerian women. This is good for women globally. Over 3 million women are being prepared for the global markets. Truly, the era has come for women to stand up and take their place. Watch out for the updates on She Trade Initiative in the next episode. My name is Mayowa Oluwabi. Thank you for watching. God bless Nigeria.